Okay, here's what we're trying to do. Trying to get a sense of whether Robert Whittaker has a point. Now, Whittaker did an interview on ESPN, on Ariel Helwani's MMA show. And on that show and in that interview, he says a lot of things about like, oh, Israel, he didn't really say I'm in his head, but the sort of banter you might expect between divisional rivals. And by the way, two guys who have a claim to a belt in that weight class. They're going to say mean things about each other, right? Not super nasty Habib Connor stuff, but okay. I'm not focused on that. I don't care about that. It was two other things he said that I thought were kind of interesting. Let's go back to them one more time for folks who are just joining us. Fellas, play me, if you can, cut 5 first from one Robert Whittaker.
If you watch the fight, you can see the holes that were there every fight before. They just got exposed bigger.
Wow.
There are a lot of holes. There are a lot of things that Gastelum exploited, and there are a lot of things that Gastelum could have exploited, but couldn't because of his makeup, because of his striking style, because of his height, his reach. And Gastelum was getting in. Gastelum was landing that left. I'll get in. I'll land my right. Like, I'm much faster than Gastelum. I'm a better striker. I'm more comfortable there. I stay on the outside. I don't stay in that mid ground. Israel should be very worried. I'm a very hard fight.
Okay. So, that's the one of them. Play the second one, please.
Israel doesn't like getting hit. And he's very, very hittable. And that's it. I hit hard. I like hitting people. I can get in and I can do the damage. I can do the work. And if he can weather the storm and he can take my shots for 5 rounds and counter and do everything he did with Gastelum, then congratulations to him. He'll win X, Y, and Z. But I don't think he's going to. I'm a different fighter to Gastelum. I bring much more heat. I hit harder. I hit faster. I'm going to come there with a new level of intensity he's not used to.
Okay, this got me fired up because I actually think this is a very competitive fight. Very competitive fight. And Robert Whittaker, folks who know how good he is, but I think he feels like, and I'm projecting here, I do not know this for a fact, seems like he feels like he might be being forgotten a little bit. Like Israel Adesanya is the shiny new toy in the middleweight division. And to an extent, he is. Robert Whittaker's been out for all this time. Israel Adesanya has won 6 fights in 14 months, just catapulted to the top of the food chain. So there probably is, I don't know if jealousy is the right word because he's the champion, the undisputed one, but, well, I guess there is some dispute now, but you get the idea. He's the champion. But there are some unresolved tensions in that division. Let's evaluate 2 different claims. One is that Israel Adesanya is very hittable, and then 2, the openings that Gastelum showed, Whittaker would be able to take advantage of in ways that Gastelum couldn't, right? All right, so let's go with the first one. Israel Adesanya is not very hittable. In fact, if you look at the numbers for him, he sits at a striking defense of about 65%. Okay? Which is very good. He absorbs 2.5 strikes a minute, which is very good. It's not like the best I've ever seen, but that's a very good number. And he lands about 4.5 a minute. Also, very good. So he's landing at double the rate you're landing on him, and his overall defensive percentage is high. If you look at the fight with Whittaker, the fight with Gastelum, in round 1, Gastelum lands at about 36%, right in line with the overall average. In round 4, 34%, right in line with the overall average. In round 5, 38%, pretty close to the overall average. It was rounds 2 and 4 where Gastelum was landing at 45 and 46%, which is where he's beginning to put on a level of punishment and successful landing that Adesanya typically does not allow himself to get to. Okay? So he was hit more in those 2 rounds. Here's what I think happened in terms of being hit. Adesanya is very good at avoiding blitzes, where people are putting multiple punches together to try and tag him, especially as they push him back to the warning track. He does a lot of trunk movement and rolling and stance switching to evade. He's very good at that. But he can be touched up in other ways. And you saw him get certain timing that Gastelum had was great. Slipping and countering was a big method of success. I went over this with my Monday Morning Analyst. There were ways he was getting inside. Why was Gastelum able to get inside? Because a lot of times somebody will see an opponent coming into them and they'll just throw. What actually ends up happening with Adesanya is he waits a beat or two to find the right opening and then lands. But one of the downsides to that style is that your opponent can close the distance. So even if they miss, now they're close to you. So if they miss with the first one, okay, great. But they might hit you with the second. And if they miss you with the second one, no big deal. They'll hit you with the third. It's why Gastelum was putting his punches together in pairs of twos or in trios of threes, right? That was the whole reason behind that. Adesanya was more hittable in this fight in that particular regard than ever before. So the question is Robert Whittaker the guy to take advantage of that? Now, I will say that Gastelum's slipping and hand speed is remarkable, number one. I don't think Whittaker is giving him his proper due. However, Whittaker is very good about closing the distance quickly and effectively. I do think he believes he saw some openings there with the right kind of timing and the right kind of feints that he could get inside and land. I don't think that's crazy. I actually think he's right. Now, enough to win? I don't know. Enough to land and cause problems? Yes. Yes, I do think that is true. I think that's absolutely true. Another way he could probably do it is then doing that and mixing in a takedown, for example. I do think folks have this relentless skepticism about Adesanya. No matter what he achieves, people come out and say, oh, yeah, he did that, but he achieved this, but. So they don't really want to accept what he's good at. And again, I do not expect a divisional rival and the guy who's the top of the food chain to say the people he has to fight are very, very good and can beat him. That's not what I'm not looking for that. But his other assessments about what is possible, I think he might be onto something a little bit. One of the lessons I took here was, and by the way, Adesanya is going to fight Whittaker probably differently than he fought Gastelum. But some of the tricks and rhythms and patterns that Adesanya shows, he's going to have to change a lot of this up. He's going to have to fight at much more of a distance fight. He's going to have to be really good about absorbing pressure, and he should be moving his feet more in this fight to get out of the way, rather than what he was trying to do with Gastelum was wait, fire, right? Because that just got him into all kinds of problems in this one. If he fights that way, I can see Whittaker having some success. I can see Whittaker having success weaving through, getting on the inside in the way that Gastelum was with his speed and his cleverness. This is going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be really about what Gastelum did, only more so. Can he handle Whittaker's speed, Whittaker's movement, Whittaker's setups, Whittaker's explosive ability? And this one, Gastelum wasn't trying to really explode. He was trying to slip and counter. A couple times he was trying to get ahead of you, but a lot of it was countering. Both guys were trying to counter each other. Whittaker's going to come at you. So you guys know I'm a huge believer in Israel Adesanya. And by the way, for all the praise I'm giving Whittaker, I think in many ways he's sleeping on Israel Adesanya as well. It's easy to go and look at a fight where a guy might be allowing for certain things against one opponent that he wouldn't allow for in another one. So always keep that in mind. But I also agree that there wasn't a distance closing that Gastelum showed that can be done, where you're pawing down the lead hand from opposite stance, you're hopping in at an angle, you're taking the appropriate angle, slipping a shot, and then now you're in the money-making zone. He had a lot of success with that. And if Whittaker, who has, I think, faster feet, faster movement, is more explosive, and is an accurate striker, and by the way, really good at exiting, Adesanya is going to have to keep this one at either all the way in or all the way out. And he can do that. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel. There's other videos you can watch right here. If you've never heard my SiriusXM radio show, there's a link in the description box below. You can try it for free for 30 days. The Luke Thomas Show airs weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, Channel 93. Catch y'all next time.